Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a Kafka Listener by me. So let's get into it. The quiet hum of the ship accompanied your footsteps as you made your way back to your quarters, rubbing the back of your neck. After another long mission, all you wanted was some peace and quiet, and maybe to convince Kafka to join you for some much needed downtime. And so, as you pushed the door open, you did not expect to be greeted by a sight that made you pause mid-step. There, lounging on the edge of your bed, was Kafka. Her legs were crossed elegantly, a book in one hand, and a small smirk playing on her lips. But what caught your attention was not her posture or her teasing expression. It was what she was wearing. Your hoodie. It was one of your favorites, oversized and well-worn, the soft fabric unmistakable. On her, it looked entirely different. The way the fabric hung loosely off her shoulders made it clear that it was not hers, and yet she wore it with an air of confidence that made it seem like it had been made for her. "Kafka?" you asked, your voice a mix of surprise and amusement. "Is that my hoodie?" She glanced up from the book, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "I suppose it might be," she replied, her voice as smooth as ever. "Does it bother you?" You stepped into the room, closing the door behind you as you raised an eyebrow. "I mean, I didn't exactly give you permission to read my wardrobe." Her smirk widened, and she set the book aside, leaning back on her hands. "Well, to be honest, I didn't think you would mind. Besides, it's comfortable, and it smells like you," she said, her tone light and playful. And your cheeks flushed at her words, and you crossed your arms, trying to play it cool. "Well, you could have just asked, you know. That sounds a lot easier." "And where's the fun in that? You're adorable when you're flustered," she countered, tilting her head as she studied your reaction. "I'm not flustered," you muttered, though the heat rising to your face said otherwise. You walked over to her, standing just close enough to meet her gaze. "You're impossible. You know that? And yet, you love me anyway." She chuckled softly, reaching out to tug gently on the hem of the hoodie. And you sighed, although a smile tugged at your lips. "Well, I really do." And Kafka's smirk softened into something more genuine, and she patted the spot beside her. "Come here, darling. You've had a long day." And you hesitated for only a moment before deciding to sit down next to her. She shifted slightly, resting her head on your shoulder as her fingers laced with yours. The warmth of her presence and the familiar scent of your hoodie made your chest ache in the best way. "You really like it, don't you?" you asked after a moment, glancing down at her, and she hummed softly, her lips quirking into a small smile. "I do. It's cozy, and it makes me feel closer to you." Your heart swelled at her words, and you squeezed her hand gently. "You could have just said that instead of stealing it. And where's the drama in that? You know I like keeping you on your toes. And it was fun, seeing you all so shocked." She teased, and you shook your head, laughing softly. "Fine, you can keep it." Just don't stretch it out too much. She pulled back slightly, a mock offended look on her face. Stretch it out? Are you implying something, Wyan? You rolled your eyes, though you couldn't hide the grin on your face. Not at all. Just take care of it. I'll take good care of it. And I'll take good care of you too. Her words made your breath catch, and you turned to meet her gaze. The mischief was still there, but it was tempered by something deeper. Something that made your chest tighten and your cheeks flush all over again. Kafka, you murmured, your voice trailing off as she leaned in closer, and she pressed a gentle kiss to your forehead, her hand resting lightly on your cheek. You've been working too hard. Let me take care of you tonight. You nodded, unable to find the words to respond, and she pulled you down onto the bed, wrapping her arms around you. As the two of you sank into the soft blankets, the hoodie, her warmth, and the quiet hum of the ship created a cocoon of comfort that you had not realized you needed. And as you lay there, her fingers gently tracing patterns on your arm, you couldn't help but smile. You know, you look really good in it. She chuckled, her breath warm against your neck. No need to tell me something I already know. You laughed. What happened to being humble? That was never my style. And you couldn't help but shake your head, laughing a little bit more, as you just hugged it a little bit tighter. And it was nice to finally cool off from all the events of the week, all the things that you had to do, and all of the thinking. And to do that in Kafka's arm is the perfect way to cool down. And so, as you drifted off to sleep in her arms, you couldn't help but think that maybe she had the right idea after all. Your hoodie had never felt more perfect than when Kafka was wearing it.